Before time itself was measured, before the first sunrise bathed the earth in golden light, there was a battle. A war so devastating that its echoes still shape the course of human history. It was a conflict not fought with swords or armies, but with something far greater: pride, power, and the desire to be worshipped. And at the heart of this rebellion stood one figure, the most radiant, the most powerful, the most exalted of all the angels. His name was Lucifer. But the story of his fall is not just an ancient account written in forgotten scrolls. It is not confined to the pages of Scripture. It has been witnessed again and again by those who have stood at the threshold of death, who have crossed beyond the veil and returned with a warning. One such person, an ordinary man by all accounts, died. And in the moments that followed, he found himself standing in a realm beyond time, face to face with a being whose radiance was beyond human description. And there, he was shown the truth about Lucifer's fall, the truth that many have sought to silence, the truth that was hidden since the beginning of the world. But before we unravel his shocking encounter, consider this. What if the accounts of those who have returned from the brink of death hold the key to an age-old mystery? What if their testimonies confirm what prophets, apostles, and ancient scribes have been telling us for centuries? What if the battle that began in the heavens is not over, and humanity itself is standing on the precipice of its final act? Consider this. Thousands upon thousands of people across cultures and beliefs report experiencing a being of light in their near-death experiences. And while skeptics dismiss them as mere hallucinations, the question remains, why do so many describe this being in the same way? Why do they say that when he speaks, every word is like fire, like truth itself burning into the soul? In the 1970s, Dr. Raymond Moody, a pioneering researcher in near-death experiences, compiled hundreds of these accounts, and among them one detail stood out. Countless individuals, even those with no prior religious beliefs, spoke of encountering a presence they could only describe as Jesus. But what happens when an individual caught between life and death sees more than just heaven's light? What if they are shown something else? A warning, a revelation, a glimpse into a war that began before the foundation of the world. Have you ever wondered about the true origins of evil? Have you ever questioned what really happened before mankind walked the earth? Tonight, we journey into a testimony that may forever change the way you see the battle between good and evil. Stay with me until the very end, because what you're about to hear may be the most important story you've ever encountered. Tonight, we journey into a testimony that may forever change the way you see the battle between good and evil. Stay with me until the very end, because what you're about to hear may be the most important story you've ever encountered. Hello, my friends. My name is Daniel Whitaker. I never thought I'd be sharing something like this, but after what I experienced, I can't stay silent. I was once a skeptic, raised in a Christian home but drifted away from faith as I got older. I believed in science, logic, and reason. The Bible? Just a collection of old stories. Heaven and hell? Comforting ideas but nothing more. And God? If he existed, he never spoke to me. Then, at 46 years old, My life changed forever. What I'm about to share with you is not easy to talk about. It wasn't just a dream or a hallucination, it was real, more real than the life I had known. I died, and in those moments beyond death, I was shown something terrifying, something awe-inspiring, something that changed me forever. It was a normal day, nothing unusual. But out of nowhere, I felt the worst pain I had ever known, like my chest was being crushed by an unseen force. I collapsed. I remember gasping for air, reaching for something, anything. Then, silence. Doctors would later tell me that my heart had stopped for 7 minutes. But I wasn't gone. I was somewhere else. I saw everything from outside my body. The doctors, the nurses, the panic in their voices. I should have been afraid, but I wasn't. I felt detached. And then it happened. The room faded. The hospital, the doctors, it all disappeared. Darkness surrounded me. I wasn't standing or floating. I was simply there. And then I began to move. I was being drawn into something massive, beyond comprehension. And then, ahead of me, a light. It started as a pinprick, but expanded rapidly, engulfing everything. And then I saw him. No one had to tell me who he was. My soul knew. Jesus. He stood before me, clothed in brilliant white. His eyes, I can't describe them. They were fire, but they were love. Power radiated from him, not forceful, not intimidating, but absolute. And when he spoke, it wasn't just words. His voice moved through me, filling every part of me. You have been shown this to understand the battle that began before time. I didn't understand at first. But then the world around me changed again. Suddenly I was no longer standing before Jesus. I was somewhere else, a place I had never seen before, but somehow I knew. Heaven. Before the fall. And then I saw him, Lucifer, before his rebellion. He was beautiful, magnificent, the most glorious of all created beings. But there was something beneath the surface, an unease, a hunger. And then I heard the words that changed everything. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. The words echoed like thunder, and suddenly the beauty twisted. The light in his eyes darkened. The magnificence became corruption. And then war. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. I saw the moment of his fall, the rebellion that cost him everything, and then I saw the world we live in today. Jesus turned to me and spoke again. Deception is still the enemy's greatest weapon. Many do not see the battle unfolding before their eyes. It hit me then. The war never stopped. It only changed form. Lucifer no longer fights openly. Instead, he deceives. He twists truth. He blinds people, making them believe there is no battle at all, and millions Billions are falling for it. They do not see, because they do not want to see. There was sorrow in his eyes, but there was also hope. Share what you have seen, he said, for the time is short and the battle is not over. I was back, alive, but I was no longer the same man. I don't know why I was allowed to see these things, but I do know this: the battle is real, the enemy is real, and Jesus is the only way to truth. If you've made it this far, I have to ask, what do you believe? Have you ever had an experience that made you question everything? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if this testimony resonated with you, please subscribe. There are more stories, more truths, and more revelations that need to be shared. Don't walk this path alone. We are in this together. When I woke up in that hospital bed, my mind was racing. Had I imagined it? Was it just a hallucination, a byproduct of my brain shutting down? But no matter how hard I tried to rationalize it, I couldn't shake what I had seen. It wasn't like a dream. It wasn't foggy or surreal. It was more real than anything I had ever experienced in my life, and I wasn't alone in this. I started researching. I needed answers, and I quickly discovered that thousands, no, millions of people have had near-death experiences that share eerie similarities to mine. Dr. Raymond Moody, one of the earliest researchers of NDEs, documented countless cases where people reported meeting a being of light who radiated love beyond human comprehension. Many called him Jesus, just as I had seen. Then there's Dr. Eben Alexander, a neurosurgeon who had a profound NDE despite being a skeptic. He described a place of overwhelming peace, a divine presence, and a hyper-reality far beyond anything in this world. And let's not forget Colton Burpo, the boy who supposedly visited heaven. He too spoke of meeting Jesus and seeing things he could not have possibly known as a child. Could all of these people, including doctors, skeptics, and children, be lying? Or is there something much deeper happening here? As I looked deeper, I saw patterns. So many of these experiences, despite differences in background and belief, shared common elements. A journey through darkness into light. Many describe traveling through a tunnel or void before emerging into a radiant presence, a being of immense love and wisdom. This being often communicates telepathically and radiates indescribable peace. A life review, seeing one's life from an outside perspective, feeling the impact of every action, both good and bad, a mission or purpose upon returning. Many are told they must share what they have learned. And yet, my experience was different. Not just because I saw Jesus, but because of what he showed me. The fall of Lucifer, the battle still raging, the deception consuming the world. This was not just about me. This was a warning, and I needed to understand it. As a former skeptic, I had dismissed the Bible as myth, but now I couldn't ignore the eerie similarities between my experience and Scripture. If this was real, I had to find answers in the one place that had spoken about these things for thousands of years. Paul writes of being caught up to the third heaven. Whether in the body or out of the body, he did not know. He saw things that no man is permitted to speak of. This sounds eerily similar to modern NDE accounts, where people struggle to put into words what they've seen. Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead after 4 days. While the Bible doesn't record what Lazarus experienced, imagine what he must have seen. Wouldn't he have glimpsed what lies beyond? Paul's words affirm what so many NDEs describe. Consciousness does not end at death. Instead, believers find themselves in the presence of Christ. It became clear what I had seen aligned with Scripture. Lucifer's fall was real. The deception of this world was real. And Jesus' message, his warning, was urgent. But I still had one more question. Was there a scientific explanation for what I had experienced? Common scientific theories are oxygen deprivation. Some scientists suggest NDEs occur due to the brain being deprived of oxygen, causing hallucinations. DMT release. Some propose that the brain releases a surge of natural psychedelics during death, creating vivid experiences. Cultural conditioning. Others argue that people see Jesus because they expect to, based on their upbringing. But here's the problem. None of these theories fully explain what I saw. Why do some blind people report full visual experiences during NDEs, despite never having seen before? Why do people of different faiths, even atheists, describe encounters with a being exactly matching Jesus? Why do NDEs often reveal verifiable details, conversations in hospital rooms, events occurring miles away, proving they were not mere hallucinations? Dr. Bruce Grayson, a leading NDE researcher, has documented cases where people reported verifiable details from outside their bodies. How could a dying brain fabricate such accurate information? And more importantly, why do people who have NDEs often come back completely transformed? Their lives change forever. They abandon materialistic worldviews. They become more loving, more selfless. If these were just hallucinations, why would they have such a profound, lasting impact? At the end of the day, this is what I know. I died. I saw Jesus, and he showed me something I could never have imagined. The truth about Lucifer's fall, the spiritual battle still raging, and the deception blinding so many today. This isn't just about me. It's about you, about all of us. The question isn't just, did this happen to me? The question is, what does this mean for you? I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I will ask you this. If so many people from different walks of life are experiencing the same thing, if science can't fully explain it, and if it aligns with ancient scripture, then maybe, just maybe, it's real. What do you think? Have you or someone you know ever had an NDE? Let's talk in the comments. If this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button. There's more to uncover, and together we're going to find the truth. As I sit here now, fully alive, fully conscious, I still wrestle with what happened to me. Was it a dream? A hallucination? A desperate firing of neurons in a dying brain? That's what science might try to tell me, but I was dead. I saw, I heard, I felt. And no medical explanation can erase what I experienced in that place. The warmth of his presence, the piercing truth in his eyes, the overwhelming realization that the war of light and darkness is not a distant myth. It's happening right now, around us, within us. So I ask you, if so many people of different backgrounds, cultures, beliefs, are seeing the same being of light, hearing the same message, feeling the same indescribable love, could this be a glimpse of eternity? Is this proof of the afterlife? Or is there something even deeper at work? Your thoughts matter. Let's talk. I don't want this to be just another story you hear and forget. I want to hear from you. What do you believe? Comment below. Have you or someone you know ever had an NDE? Do you believe these experiences reveal real spiritual truths, or could they be explained by science? This conversation isn't over, it's just beginning. Stay connected. There's more to uncover. If this story spoke to you, if you're searching for truth, if you want to hear more incredible encounters with the divine, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Check out our other videos where we dive even deeper into NDEs, biblical prophecies, and the mysteries of the afterlife. At the end of the day, this is what I know. I was dead, but I came back with a message. A message not just for me, but for you, for all of us. The battle is real, the deception is real, but so is the truth. So is the light. And no matter what you believe, no matter where you stand, know this: you are seen, you are loved, and you are not alone.